I saw your text in the group chat. I was at Costco. As I saw it, I'm like, that's when I called you right away.
I thought he was calling to congratulate me. He's like, what flight are you taking? I'm coming.
I'm not saying the ideas went away and it's just the capabilities to materialize them into actual reality. You'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Sean Robichaud, and in 2022, I'm going to be running the Red Bull Erzbergrodeo. Welcome to the Big Iron Moto series. I got my first dirt bike when I was 5 years old. My father bought me a Honda 50, and I rode that thing every day after school. We would go up to our cottage or to a friend's horse farm or even up at a local racetrack, and I would ride that thing around until the sun went down. I basically couldn't get off it, and I must have put over 1,000 hours on that motorcycle before I outgrew it. When I outgrew that little 50, I didn't replace it. I got preoccupied with other things as a teenager, other sports, a lot of outdoor activities, rock climbing, became a river guide for a little bit, kayaking and partying, things like that. So motorcycling took a bit of a back seat, but I always knew I wanted to come back to it, and it wasn't until I came across a little KTM 50 at a marina when I was there with my twin boys who were 6 at the time, and I immediately bought that for them. My wife jokes because she says we came here for cookies, but we left with a dirt bike. And since then, we've managed to accumulate quite a few more dirt bikes, as you can see in the background. Once they got on the track, I knew I wanted one, and that passion came flooding back. In 2018, I raced my first real dirt bike race, and I couldn't stop. It became something that I was deeply passionate about. Managed to race 4 or 5 times in 2018, figured out the local race scene. 2019, same thing, racing quite a bit, and then of course COVID struck, but fortunately for the race scene and dirt biking, we were able to maneuver around, do rides with our buddies, figure out ways to still stay on a motorcycle, and in 2021 the race scene came back for the most part, and we came at it with full force. Jumped into it, moved up to the vet expert class, and trying to push myself, racing against much faster riders every day, trying to be a better racer than I was before. So in 2022, that's escalated more because we decided we're going to Austria and we're going to do the Red Bull Erzbergrodeo. The reason I'm doing this series is it's easy to find really good stories of pros and watching their footage at places like Erzberg and Romaniacs and TKO and all those big races that we all look at and admire and just think, how are they capable of doing these things? But there aren't many series or profiles of regular riders like me who want to just get over there and see what this is about, who have a passion for dirt biking. And I can tell you, in 2018, when I first started into the race scene, it seemed completely inconceivable that I would be heading off to Austria to do the Erzbergrodeo. But with dirt biking comes a lot of passion and dedication, and it makes you a better person in so many ways, mentally, physically. And I'm not the same person I was in 2018. I'm in much better shape. Not to say that I'm Erzberg ready, but I'm in better shape mentally, physically, and I just thought, if not now, then when? I managed to find a couple buddies, Chris and Dimitri, who are going to join me on this adventure, and I'm looking forward to the stories that we can send back to you. This is going to be as much of a journey for us as it is for you watching us doing it, and we think that's the appeal. So, welcome to Big Iron Moto. Let's go do Erzberg. So how crazy is this, eh? Look. So the reason I thought doing this, I guess, idiots do Erzberg here, is most people don't know how to do it, and we didn't up until like hours ago. So we should explain what it means to sign up, like from beginning to end, what is someone who's just watching this being like, I'm going to ride in Erzberg next year? What do they need to know?
Yeah, Erzberg for Canadian dummies.
That's right.
I honestly, initially, when you were texting something about Erzberg Romaniacs, whatever, early in the week, and I was like, yeah, empty talk. Because you know why? Because I've talked like that many times with my riding buddies years ago, right? We watch these videos from 15 years ago or who knows when, every video on YouTube or whatever, and then it'll be cool to go. It'd be cool to go. You're in 20s. There's no money. There's no skill set, but there's the desire, right?
100%.
When you're like young, you have zero budget.
Yeah.
You don't have the skills to do any of the dreams you have. The dreams are crazy and unachievable, and some of them are just crazy.
Yeah.
But then I figured yesterday he's texting, and I realized, this guy is serious. Like, he figured it out. Like,
first thing that I thought was the only way you'd be able to do Erzberg is if you're a pro and you qualify and get past, a certain standing in WESS or something. But what turns out, all you need to do is show up, and it starts off with a pool of 1,500 riders. And then of those, on Saturday, there's a prologue. And that's how you're saying you qualify. And essentially, you have to fly up and out of the mine using the machinery double track, which is insane. Like, there's cliffs on the side, right? And you're going up pinned top gear as fast as you can on switchbacks and getting up and down this huge mine.
I didn't know you had to qualify. I'm like, what do you mean? I gotta fly, I gotta pay all this money, and I'm not even gonna race if I don't qualify?
You know what? I think that's one of the nerve-wracking parts to it. You're like, damn, I went all the way there, have to qualify. There's a possibility that I might not even get to race. And then there's the other thing that, okay, you do qualify. Holy smokes, you're starting in line with 50 riders, all funneling into one. And I've seen way too many videos of the disasterness that goes down right off the bat, Even
the first line that goes out with all the super pros, it's chaos for them. And they're the best in the world, and there's still guys crashing. Can you imagine by the time you get to line like 426 rider of the 500? It's just going to be a wall of dirt bikes. They were saying on the page that most riders will spend the next 2 hours at the first two hills.
Oh, 100%. I totally believe that. Absolutely.
So
it's not like you're waiting for a line and it's like a clear shot up. There's guys scattered all over that mountain that you have to try to go around as you're going up 1,000 feet vertically on two wheels on loose gravel.
I think it was 9.5 minutes.
That's crazy.
And then the top 500 guys get to go on to race day. And I'm pretty sure that the person who cleared it at 500, so the threshold, I think that's at like 12.5. So you're only 2.5, 3 minutes behind. So I think we need to start training, boys. Anyway, that's how you get into Erzberg, and then the chaos really starts.
What was it? I'm just trying to look it up. It's what it says is 13.5 kilometers. That's what you got to do. 13.5 kilometers in that 12 minute.
Yeah. So 13.5 kilometers in 13 minutes, whatever the math is to that. It's probably closer to 12.5 to qualify. So that's fast. And if you haven't seen it already, if you're watching this, go check out Mario Roman Rocket Up Erzberg or something. Or not.
With Joseph Garcia.
That's right, Joseph Garcia. That's who it was.
Yeah.
He won it. And so, and then if you manage to get that top 500, then you get to go on. And depending on your placement in the line, if you're Joseph Garcia, you start in the first line. If somehow miraculously we qualify, we'll probably be in the last line.
Hold on. If you win the Enduro Cross, you get first line.
You do?
If I win the Enduro Cross.
You have to win it? Oh, okay. Well, that's...
The Enduro Cross on the electric bikes, you get line one for the actual race.
Right. You just go, there's a solution. But I was saying, I think what people don't... I didn't appreciate any about this race is
is hardly anyone finishes. There's like 20, I think there's 27 or 28 tests, and from 1 to 11, the public is allowed to help people get up.
Yeah.
And then after 11, no one other than other riders can help anyone up. And that's when it just gets crazy. So, you know, I think already just qualifying is a huge victory.
Even being able to do the prologue and rip it up that mountain regardless. And then even, let's say you don't qualify, worst case scenario, getting to go in there while the pros are ripping at it through all the mess, I think that's just insane.
You know, the worst day possible is us in the middle of Erzberg in green hell helping
Carl's Diner, watching them go through.
That's right, and cheering them and trying to pull them up, and it's going to be awesome.
Can't wait, man.
In some ways, I think I'd be relieved if I didn't get, because I know I just go back to the hotel room, sit in the sauna, have a few Stiegels.
Is that why you upgraded the room?
Yeah.
Because he's already planning for that scenario to play out.
But you know what, like you were saying though, there was 1 year where the pros couldn't even get up the final section or test. I forget what it was.
Green Hill.
It was great, exactly, yeah. So all four of them were pulling each other up, and that's how they all crossed the finish line all together, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. To show you, if they can't get up themselves, how crazy this is, you know? It's
and that trend has continued, and that's, I think, what's really unique about this race. I think Tough Like Roar might be like that as well, that only a very small handful of people actually finish the race.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think only something like 14 people finished it in 2019, what was the last year. And so what they do for rankings is every one of these checkpoints, if you cross it, then they obviously take your time. And then at a certain time, they just shut down the race. Everyone stop, go back. And then depending on how far you made it to your checkpoint and in your time is where your ranking is.
It's basically how far, the race is not about finishing, it's about how far in can you get.
Yeah, exactly.
How many hills can you tackle, right?
You know what's interesting though, like the way you qualify isn't really hard enduro. It's more track, right? It's fully pinned, 5th, 6th gear, 90 kilometers an hour up a mine, and then if you do that, like basically you're an MX star, then you can do the most hard enduro in the world.
Makes 0 sense, I know.
Right?
That's my thing. That's, because for me, the MX thing is not my thing. It's more the enduro, the hard enduro style. That's what I've always ridden. So to be pinned in 5th gear is not something that I'm used to at all. So that's why I have no choice to practice that. I don't know where, but definitely going to have to.
I like there was that one pro whose strategy, what I don't think I would have thought of, but he keeps winning it. He goes straight as fast as he can and slams on the brakes and then spins his bike around and goes back up the other way in the switchback instead of trying to slide and drift.
Yeah, part of that section, what you're talking about is he keeps coming back to his safety because he says like you can go around the apex of the turn. Yeah, it looks nice when you're drifting, but you're actually, close to the cliff. So this way, I'm at least not, I'm a straight line. I'm not falling off a cliff.
So what, seriously though, what are we going to do for training? We're going to do some training, and it may seem a little odd because it's December. Erzberg isn't until June, but when you think about it, it's not much time. And to make matters worse for our training, we only have, a couple months to ride before Erzberg actually starts. So we're trying to get the most out of the winter. It's a warm day in December. We're going to hit some hills. We're going to try some slow climbs from standing still positions that will help us if we end up qualifying, and other things that will help us get along as far as possible in the course. Thankfully, we've got some night lights. Dimitri and I both picked up some oxbow lighting, and that'll hopefully extend our days a little bit as we start to train. So get out there, get a sweat going, and one more step closer to Erzberg. I have a feeling Erzberg might be a bit harder. The wheels can't be any bigger than this at Erzberg, can they?
I mean, I think we got it beat. We got it figured out. You ready? Let's go to the bar.
Easy sailing from now.
Easy peasy.
One of the things we've been trying to be conscious of in these hill climbs is staying on your pegs, you know, kind of that hovering on your feet.
That's what we got to actually practice.
We really got to practice at high
Just
speeds.
do it, but improve the technique, right?
Yeah.
Consistent.
Because from what I see with the angles of those hills at Erzberg, even the early ones, you're going to loop your bike.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you hit your seat. Realistically, what do you think the best case scenario is? How far would you make it of those 27 checkpoints?
I have no clue. I would love to say, I hope past the first two hills. I would love to make it to Carl's Diner. I would love to. That would be ideal for me.
Okay, I don't know.
Feasible?
What about you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So here's the thing. I don't think you can even think about it. If it's gonna rain,
Oh, forget it.
you know, like there's so many variables from the videos I watched, all of them last night. It seems, it's just a game of chance. You're whatever number 50, 150, 250. The amount of carnage ahead of you, like you can't see. There's stones flying, boulders at you.
Yeah, I never even thought
And
of
you
that.
try not to run people over, right? Like, well, at least I do. I don't know about you, but you're going to apply the brakes and not run somebody over. And that means you're stuck and somebody else is running you over. So there's so much Russian roulette going on.
Yeah.
You don't know what your luck is going to be like.
No, the whole thing is nuts. I mean, but, you know, it's interesting because I've never gone into a race thinking there's no possible way I can even finish this race. and that's the reality. Like, there's certain things I saw, like green as hell. I could spend 4 weeks there. I would never be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't even think I could train hard enough because you have pros like Jarvis and those guys like pushing themselves to their absolute limit just to get up that. And I use that as an extreme example, but there's a lot of sections in there that I know I would just never be able to do. So it's weird when you're going into a race thinking, I just hope I hope I can just make it out of the first hill.
right? And that's a huge accomplishment.
Exactly. So it's just because you're thinking about racing, can I place well? Can I get a trophy, right? But it's back to that point of the ranking of the people, how far in you got. We got to think about it in terms of baby steps. Let's get there.
Right.
Let's qualify, and then let's one of us make it as far as possibly can. I honestly, all these times thinking about a pipe dream, right? Like it's a bucket list item kind of thing. But when you go there, if I'm 70 and I didn't go, right, it'll be probably a little bit of a regret.
I think you're right.
This moment right now is taking care of that possibility of not having regrets. No, but maybe you talked about pulling the plug, how the rules work a little bit. But the other big piece for me in my mind, he came out of nowhere and said it, and that's why I was like, okay, where do I swipe my credit card? How do I sign up for this thing? But the bike rental, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way we're shipping our own bikes in the middle of nowhere. You got to figure that out. I know there's companies, but who is who and who is okay, who's not, right? They get a clamped out Suzuki from Travis Pastrana that's probably still in the mountain up there. Like, well, what are you going to get, right? How'd you find that company?
So that company, it's called Rider X Power, right? Yeah. And they've been great. I know you've been chatting with Eve too.
Awesome.
And she's just been amazing. And they were the company that some other riding buddies used for Romaniacs.
That's Lance, right?
That's right. So last year, Lance Webb and Scotty Thornton all finished, all did amazing, and and their company was Rider X, and they all got these bikes. So that's what made me think of it.
No, I remember speaking to Lance at the court, and he was saying that they were awesome there in Romania. So it was amazing. It was like, to them, because there it's 4 days, right? And he was saying it's like to have your own mechanic do all the work for you, and you just show up, the bike's clean. And the transport, everything, they said they were top notch. And so far, from speaking to them, I know you as well too, and Dimitri also. They've been awesome, super easy. Everything's reserved pretty much. So
what do you? Let's go through our bikes. What do you ride? What did you settle on?
I settled on a 2019 300 EXC, which is same bike I ride, except it's an AXC, except it's a TPI. Yeah, all of them are TPI, I think.
Yeah, they all would be. What are you on, Chris?
I'm on a 2020 TPI 300 EXC.
And I think I don't know if it's a 21 or 22, but I think it's a 21 gas.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's same thing. I don't think it's my bike. I have an EX. I think this one's an EC.
No?
Yeah, they're all EXCW or XCW EXC kind of versions. PDS shock, no linkage.
So then another big question I've been getting, like, has everyone's social media totally blown up? It's crazy, right? It's just like every 10 seconds I look at it. It's just like, and it's so awesome because you see everyone's behind you. I have to say, it's making me a bit nervous because people are watching.
No pressure, yeah.
100%.
Right? And I'm going to save everyone some disappointment right now. We're not placing on the podium. We're not getting past probably, even 5 sections. We are considering, qualifying the victory.
So you know what though, Sean, to go back to what you were saying though, like with the social media posts, it's so cool how, whether it was family or friends, but even the dirt bike community, like for me in Quebec, you guys in Ontario, and even from the guys in Ontario reaching out to me as well too, how everyone's so pumped for you and how it's such a tight-knit community. Everyone wants the other person to succeed and so pumped for the other person, right?
Totally. I think, you know what, like you hit the nail on the head kind of. I had people message me on Instagram from the US, people that never leave a message on a post or a comment on a post. Like, I don't know, where all of a sudden they're commenting, right? And it's just a picture. It's just a picture of this, right?
Yeah.
It's not a third gear wheelie loop out or anything fancy that cost me some physiotherapy. It's a piece of paper, right? Just sign up. And people are genuinely. I almost feel like, I want to do this too,
right?
In their comments, and I'm going to leave this dream through you now. I'm like, okay, no, how about you just join us? I don't need that pressure on me right now, right?
Yeah. But I think that's what's kind of neat about this series we're going to do, is that this is letting them live through us, not just sort of like seeing us on Instagram. But, you know, the intention is to put these out every few weeks and have a whole story leading up to it about, you know, what we're doing to get ready. Hopefully by the time June rolls around, we're all in good shape. We're not drinking as many beers.
All in good shape.
You know, we've deluded ourselves into thinking we're going to podium. And, but you know, I think that story will be a pretty neat one to tell. And I didn't want it to be lost because it's very easy to go on Red Bull TV and watch someone like Tristan Hart. And that's awesome. Like, you just look at them in awe. Yeah. But what's the story of the guy crying at the bottom of the mountain?
Yeah, that's us right there.
Why are they there, right? How did they even get there, right? And I think, too, this is something that we can continue because, you know, with talking to E through Ride X Power, they do not just Erzberg, but they do Romaniacs. And, of course, everyone's already talking about that in the chat
He's
now.
already ready for us for Romaniacs.
Oh, yeah. Sea to Sky is another one that I hear is just incredible. So, you know, do it while we can, right?
You got to do it right now because a lot of people are held up back from 2019 not being able to do it. It's going to be sold out quickly.
Well, that's what I think what it is. Like all the logistics of flights, hotels, bikes, those are things that probably can be managed. But if you want to do this, like I bet you by the time this video comes out, it'll be sold out. I would be surprised if it isn't because Romaniac sold out within days. Yeah. I'm really surprised that Erzberg isn't. And what made me think about it is it came up a couple days ago on my Instagram feed and it just said Erzberg and it was a countdown. I'm like, how is that not sold out yet? And then, of course, I start going down the rabbit hole on their website and looking how much it costs and then digging deeper and, you know, a few more clicks and I'm registering. What about the budget? That's a question I get. How do I get in?
465 euros if you sign up for the 10 euro, I think, Endurocross, right?
And we got insurance.
Yeah. 75 euro for insurance.
I think
at any time during this entire event, if somebody comes up to me, would you like to purchase insurance? I'll be buying it. You know?
Absolutely.
Insurance left and right.
That's right.
I got my credit card bill today, and I think it came to $685 Canadian, and that's sort of a luxury package, insurance, registration in every event except the crazy hill climb because I didn't want to get hurt on that in the first day.
Yeah.
I wrecked the bike, whatever. But that looks awesome. We're going to be able to spectate that on Thursday.
Yeah, that's
good.
So
there's 700. Then it's roughly, let's say on average, what, 2,500 Canadian for a bike with service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about that.
Service. So there's 2,500.
And the flight.
And then the flight, which surprisingly wasn't that bad. It's like $1,300 return.
Yeah. And then the Airbnb hotel.
And the Airbnb, again, surprisingly not that expensive. We're about $500 each to share a really nice condominium.
Yeah.
With a sauna. Can't believe that. So I don't know. I think we're roughly around $5,000-6,000 now.
I think overall, I think it's going to be around like 6,000.
I don't think a single person, sorry, Chris, is a single person out of this group right now. When we come back, no matter what, like, doesn't matter how it unfolds. If we get a picture, a memory, a picture to come back with, nobody's going to remember how much money it was or how long it took to pay off the credit card. Or
because it's always easy to say next year, and then all of a sudden
you're going to run out. Or you got to remember, you live once. You got to enjoy life, take the opportunity.
When you go to watch Wimbledon, you don't get to go on the court and play tennis with them.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a good soccer team, you don't just get to go to the World Cup and say, well, we'll just play in some of the off fields here for a bit, and then if we progress, we'll see you. Like, this is the only sport where you can literally like bump handlebars with the top rider in the world. It's just incredible that way, and I don't think it's going to be like that much longer. To be honest, I think we're in a kind of a sweet spot. But I think they're going to start more and more as this becomes more and more popular. People are going to realize they can just kind of pay to play. But we're on that last cusp where we still get to ride with the pros. Like I remember at the Corduroy, I look behind me, there's Tristan Hart, Spencer Wilton. But what a crazy sport. You know what also I just thought of that comes from that too is when you see your parents do great things, kids want to do great things. And, you know, like they know that, you know, for as much as a memory it is for us, I suspect all of our kids are gonna start saying, you know, our dads went to Austria to do Red Bull Erzberg, and you know, their friends would be like, what? And that's something where it's like, okay, now, like, I want to achieve that too, like, because you've just set the norm. It's like, yeah, that's just what you do. You go to Red Bull Erzberg.
You go to Austria, you hit up the Iron Giant.
That's right. Part of the day-to-day.
Memories is all we got, eh? We're probably gonna end up, you know, dragging other people to this ride later on.